Alright, the Picard trailer dropped and I'm gonna review it and analyse it. I'm not going to be uploading it here in full because of copyright, so here's a few key points and things that I'm pleased they touched on and so forth. I'm still relatively hyped for the reveal, so excuse me if I miss some things. So to begin with, I'm glad they had Picard mentioning about how he tried to fit in but just can't at the vineyard. During my initial Picard predictions, based solely on his character, I came to the conclusion that he wouldn't return to the vineyard as it was always his family's thing and something he ran away from to join Starfleet. So with him whiling his days away at the vineyard, that never quite sat right with me and clearly doesn't seem to be the same for Jean-Luc. He's still glancing at his old TNG film era badge and wearing it while looking to the heavens. Clearly he's looking for an excuse to get off planet, to get away from the Picard vineyard once again. At least that's what comes across. Secondly, he's still ate up inside about the destruction of Data during Star Trek Nemesis, and we see him examining a disassembled B4, or potentially Data. Or actually could be Lore. As well as that drop at the end of the trailer with him playing cards with Data. His body looks all kinds of beat up and burnt, so perhaps it could be Data himself recovered from the scimitar, which would be weird, but okay. If it's Lore, then we have some interesting ties to the Borg to work with here, Lore having successfully usurped control of a disconnected hive of drones in the past, and if it's B4 then presumably he's being disassembled for study by Starfleet. Could be in an effort to restore Data or just study the parts. After all, Data was granted rights by the Federation, not all Soong-type androids, so they could feasibly use that as justification to disassemble him for study, perhaps try to reverse engineer Dr. Soong's work. We also get a visit from a Jeri Ryan reprising her role as 7 of 9, visiting Picard, and I'm assuming she's learned how to human a bit since coming home with her more lax speech. So that's a nice continuation of her evolution. In beta content, she was asked by Starfleet to liaise with them on an anti-Borg strategy, explaining perhaps a professional connection to Picard. And now we have the unknown girl, who, if I had to guess, is suffering from some form of memory loss, what with the stranger to yourself lines in the trailer and the head injury. She sees images of Picard and unexplainably feels safe with him, so tracks him down to the vineyard. Picard, meet your excuse to get back out there. He speaks to Starfleet for assistance with this stranger, and we get to see more of the uniforms, as well as the Admiral's office, with the new LCARs and Alpha Beta Quadrant map in the background. We get this assailant of unknown origin, though I think Starfleet because of the transporter that beams one of them away during the fistfight with our mysterious stranger, which has some interesting implications. We get a shot of a red planet with a fleet of ships heading for it, and my gut wants to say it's a Romulan flotilla heading for Vulcan, but it really could be a lot of things. My speculation here now, so if you want to avoid story analysis then keep away and thanks for watching. So, he turns to Starfleet for help, where he won't find it. If I had to guess from a narrative point of view, I'd say he's feeling a little left behind by the organisation and how much it's moved on without him, and we hear him explaining his situation to an admiral who is going to likely be unable or unwilling to help him. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that our mysterious stranger is a Starfleet experiment of some description, which would necessitate another darker portrayal of the supposed good guys. So he has to turn to his connections within the Romulans to help who find him after he's rejected by Starfleet. This in turn has him assemble a team of underground types to pursue answers and is led inevitably to another ghost of his past, the Borg. It seems that the Romulans are experimenting with Borg technology, judging by this scene, perhaps trying to undo assimilation rather than the more nefarious experiments that they were conducting in the past when Romulus was whole, as according to Countdown, Star Trek Online and such sources. Still, we get a lot of shots from inside the repurposed Borg cube, markedly different visually from a standard cube by its blue and white hues, such as these regeneration alcoves. This sign here declares it's been 5,843 days since assimilation, which equates to just over 16 years. So, perhaps an event 16 years ago led Picard to help Romulus against a Borg incursion, and this was the rescue armada of which was mentioned in the previous teaser. Which also would address a minor concern of mine, that the destruction of Romulus could have been moved from the previously established date of 2387. This series is now softly confirmed to be taking place in 2399, and 16 years prior would be 2383. The translation on the sign next to it is in Romulan, and the guards all indicate this as a Romulan facility. The cube doesn't appear to be operational due to the surrounding debris and what look to be probes, so I think we're seeing a relic of a post-Nemesis Borg incursion into the Alpha and Beta quadrants, which happened in books in 2381. This begins to create a rough timeline. So, in 2381, Picard's tenure aboard the Enterprise E ends. In 2383, we have our speculated Borg encounter where Picard saves Romulus. Then Picard retires in 2386. A year later, boom, Hobus. All Picard's efforts are kind of undone with Romulus being destroyed. There's also a myriad of snapshots of scenes with Picard in trouble with the Romulans, among other things, as well as him drawing a weapon in his home by the looks of it. So like I said, this is all speculation, but I think we're going to see Picard dealing with this young girl's mystery, admittedly a safe assumption, getting turned away by Starfleet and turning to the Romulan refugees for aid, and it all leads him to this liberated cube, where not all is hunky-dory either. If I had to guess, the cube is split between sections of Romulans who want to liberate the Borg and some who want to continue the work of adapting the advanced Borg tech to suit the needs of the Star Empire, save it from total collapse after the loss of Romulus. As for the young girl, I think she's an experiment with similar tech, clearly combat ready. Maybe even a hybridization of Zoom tech and something strange like that, explaining Data's involvement. Nevertheless, I think the cameos from Spiner and Ryan in this trailer aren't going to be as massive as we're hoping, but still instigating / driving / important forces for the plot, thus making room for the new cast. But I think it would be a disservice for the story if it became a series about Picard checking in with all of his old friends for drinks and catch-ups. Though admittedly I'd also watch the shit out of that too. So, what do you guys think? More recurring guests? Data back in the silicone flesh, or merely as a flashback? And what do you think of the girl's purposes? Starfleet experiment or Tal Shiar plot? I think we're in for a different take on Starfleet than that of the TNG time, but I also think that's going to be playing a factor in Picard's decisions to make us relate to his personal cause. And him giving the engage at the end made me grin like a Vulcan doesn't. I can imagine his assembled crew asking him to say the thing. Anyway, what did I miss? There's bound to be something because I'm still too hyped. And I want to hear theories of your own. I'm going to be thinking about this all day now, so until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you around for more Trek and sci-fi stuff. Thanks again, and goodbye.